This is going to make 9/11 and the change of the world since 9/11 look really small. We are into the big league show now. This is it. This is what they've been waiting for, preparing for. Nothing you're seeing is organic right now. Please believe me. This is all a show of smoke and mirrors. This has been pre-planned, predetermined. And whatever it is, the set out date of why they didn't want to crash the markets this Monday makes me suspect to them to come out and say, we didn't want to disrupt the markets this Monday by having some sort of, all out attack, barrage / whatever going on this weekend. So why are they waiting until next weekend or next weekend or next Monday or next Monday? Not this coming Monday, but 2 weeks or 3 weeks from now. I'll throw all those balls up in the air, and hopefully as a master juggler, you can catch one and then, keep the thought going.
Well, I was just thinking that, they don't even have to have a nuclear exchange as we were, previously talking about in the Ukraine. All you have to do is disrupt one of these power stations. It's a giant dirty bomb. And the idea that we're going to go bomb either uranium enrichment facilities, an actual nuclear bomb somewhere, or that, you would attack one of these power plants and make it go critical is silly in the first place. So there may not be anything like that, because there may be what's equivalent to dirty bombs going off. And actually, with a failing nation right here, because I actually don't expect Iran to last as we know it for more than a couple more weeks. They might kick the can down the road, but if they're serious about it this time, what's going on here? If they're serious about...
Oh, wait. Hey, well, hold on. My bad. Please, I clicked the wrong button. Can somebody get me out of there? Help.
That's all right.
Yeah, go right back there, Ransom.
No,
that was my bad.
Chernobyl
that was an itchy trigger finger. That was an itchy trigger finger right there.
Well, I was going there next to that article anyway. So that's funny.
Okay, great.
No, we could have a Chernobyl-style catastrophe. Russia's warning about it, but it doesn't take any genius to figure that out. And what's to stop this, dying or failing nation right now of putting some of this material, now that they're going to be, having to move it around, it's going to be bombed or dismantled or whatever's going on there, and slap one of those in one of these rockets that are making it through the dome. And then you got, some serious dirty bomb going on. And we're not going to put boots on the ground. I mean, Iran is like Afghanistan times 100 as far as mountainous, cavernous regions. We're not going to have a ground war there. So we're just going to pound it from the sky, even if we do get involved. What's going on here? I don't know. There we go. I guess that is this screen here. Anyway, we're not going to have a ground war. We're just going to pound it if we do join in. And, you can see behind me, they got these cams set up in specific areas while stuff is landing all over the place out of camera view here. They even have a blackout on media going on in Israel where any reporters or anybody there that's trying to put out content or stories has to check with the Ministry of Truth, so to speak, there in their place before it goes out. But we know that's the same way in Iran. It's not like that they've enjoyed many of the freedoms that we do here when we talk about what we want to talk about over the ocean here. But Iran is literally no threat to us. It's they're too far away, unless they're sending people, which they have been, across our southern border, which supposedly has stopped now. The problem is all of these little, I would call them splinter cells from China, Iran, you name it, who's on the list, Russia, Ukraine. I would even put some of our friendly nations that are supposed to be our allies inside of that arena of splinter cells, just sitting all over the place. It's standard procedure, actually, for countries to do this to each other. It's just some countries don't allow that because, try doing that in Japan. They'll know about it in a second. You're not really going to get away with anything there, like trying to group up as foreigners in their country. They'll figure it out in a second and you'll be deported. And, the same goes for Iran. They're pretty, Somehow it happened, though. They had Israelis invade. They were in there flying drones around doing assassination plots. We kind of knew last Thursday that this was going to be the news feed for the next week or so. And here we are, where we're debating 2 more weeks, like you said, for Trump to decide whether or not he's going to join in, or if this is going to increase into a regional war. And I was thinking we should pop up like Google Maps here in a little while and talk about it, because Iran borders Afghanistan, and it's not far from China, actually, on the map, on China's western border. So you have this little area from the edge of Iran over there, and you have Pakistan and India having issues. The whole region is set like a tinderbox, ready to be lit, when you start having nations against nations. So what do you think that you know, uh, Pakistan and India will think about their problems that they're having whenever they see that the whole world is ignoring what's going on over there? I mean, because basically what's going on is people are picking sides, and you can see how China backed out of their support for Iran, and France backed out for their support of Israel. So this whole thing that we talked about a few years ago, where they're going to redraw the map, and you're going to see some new players emerge. And I think one of those areas is Iran. They're going to shatter that into different factions, is what's going to happen. The leadership there is not very popular, except for with kind of the Islamic extremist end of the population. On the other end, you have people that were living their lives out freely in a first world nation in the 70s. And they got put into the 12th century. So I think they're tired of that there. So you're going to have an internal combustion going on in Iran, and Israel knows that. That's why they're taking the opportunity to do it. And I bet money that before 2 weeks is up, the U.S. will help with some strikes there. But I think this is really a big nothing burger. This is look over here while we change the map around. If you notice, we kind of backed off of the whole idea of NATO, um, you know, taking the Ukraine, or adopting the Ukraine. We can see that Russia, it's like we predicted, went ahead and taken the territory that they said they were going to take. But you have a real opportunity for the new nuclear age, and I mean this in the most messed up way. Power plants destroyed either by greenies that think they're saving the environment, all the way up to nation states that are trying to, as you can see on TV, trying to bomb each other, both of which are rumored to have nuclear weapons already. And I wouldn't put it really, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that Iran, from one of its neighbors, or from all of the help that they got through the Clinton and the Obamas and the Bushes. You got to remember, there's been a lot of money going back and forth, and designs of old school weapons and things like that from the 80s on up. So I wouldn't put it past the Iranians to have one of the old style nukes. Whether or not they can efficiently put it on a warhead is something different. But I would imagine that Israel, being on the other side of this kind of coin, probably has a modern Merv style weapon. In other words, they can hit Tehran and flatten it to the ground if they wanted to, which they're not doing. So that tells me that this is going to be another drag your feet, slow, incremental border change. And you're going to see, you remember that $85 billion worth of junk we left in Afghanistan? Well, that's on the eastern border of Iran. And I would predict that you'll see people using that. And the goal here is to set up a new Islamic state from Turkey all the way over to Pakistan. In the Middle East. So that's been the goal for quite some time. They kind of tell us what they're going to do. Israel is going to get a big chunk of land in exchange for allowing this to happen. So you're going to see the greater Israel idea kind of unfold in your eyes. They might keep the names on the maps, but the power and the administration is going to change. You hear all of our politicians clamoring for regime change. I don't care one way or the other, really, except for that we're involved in it, and it's really, no risk to us. But this is part of the game. It's nation building. There isn't an American empire. There is an empire that wants that Mediterranean space so that we could return to Roman style maps of power with Europe, and I think they're going to blend Europe and the Middle East right in together as one block. You'll see in 20 years, the populations will be changed. People will migrate to new places, and we're going to see a whole new world right within our lifetime. So we're not going to have to wait for this. This is an event. It's just rolling out slow. We kind of told you about that, and that's exactly what's happening, right? We predicted it. They were going to change the borders. That's what's happening from Russia all the way down. And then I would even think that you're going to start seeing some drama pop off in the breakaways of Russia. And there's a lot of proxy war going on right now. So we're in full step towards World War III. I just don't think that they're going to play it out as the same drama as they did in World War II. It'll be more of a watch it on TV kind of thing, where they're just blowing up infrastructure, new contracts are made, new businesses move in. And you can see there is a plan to move populations around and build new infrastructure where the old world, the old empires were, like the old Babylonian Empire, the old, pick one of those old empires. They all revolve around the Mediterranean and that little piece of soil from Lebanon to Egypt.